Alright, first map mall. It's actually been a while since I've seen a mall first map, so this will be interesting. Not exactly fully aware of all of the meta plays here on mall, so you'll have to bear with me. I may be surprised by some pushes. Oh wait, I need to AGM and right. Oh, did I just hide you? Okay. It does look like it. Oh shoot. No, there's still. Okay. Never mind. Freaking out for no reason. I'm just gonna make sure. Yes, 4-minute delay. Okay, we're good. Alright, starting off with a B-site push. Seems normal so far. One player is going off to doorway. Player here, Kai, is going to have to be careful for head peek. Ping, likely pointing out to his teammates that it is a B-site push. Jesper is an interesting choice. We'll see how this fares up against Spectrals. Wallblown, have to be careful. Phantom does get DJ. Gets up to half HP. Not good so far. However, there is damage on several players. Player here in the corner does get a pick. AGM just needs to get a few more picks and maybe not let this static get shot out, because that's a huge thorn in the side. Prodigy swinging in. Not sure where player is. Player is able to get one. Skittles with another. Math is able to get a trade. Ooh, 3k there. That was a very aggro play that worked out for them in the end. Not exactly high HP in the end, though. That could have turned out very badly. Thankfully, his teammate was relatively close. He could have gotten the refrag if Math had died. Great start there. Looks like it's going to be a relatively close matchup, at least from first round. Of course, first round isn't always what you can go off of. Pistol round is always a toss-up. Sorry, just making sure the stream's all right. Okay, yeah. Round 2. By the looks of it, it's going to be an A-site push. Arcade hatch has been blown. Interesting choice. I don't usually see that blown. They do have full control of lower arcade, though. DJ here is going to be troublesome, although Prodigy with the Viper is able to take him out. Always gets another pick. That's going to be tough for AGM to come back from. Player in sight. Player is able to take out one, however it is refragged. And now it's a 1v4. Accidentally took himself out. Sorry, taking care of sending link to captains. One is on window. It does appear to be a B site push. Does look like they have a lot of space out here on B. It's going to be hard for them for AGM to deal with this. Passing phone between walls. Kai is able to get a pick on the player who came through window. However, EP is being planted on bomb, and they've only one piece of util, and it's not on the right side. MVTP takes out one, Phantom gets the second, and we are now into a 1v3 now. Oh, not ready for being wallbanged through this box, though. There is surprisingly a lot of things you can shoot through on this site. I believe you could shoot through this metal panel here and several other places throughout the floor. I believe you could shoot through this railway here. You can shoot through this table here. I do believe you can also shoot through this table here. So if someone's in this corner and wall is blown on the other side of here, body shots will still do something, if not very much. Back to this top floor though. We did see a B site push last time onto this kitchen area. However, it does seem to be a little bit more A site oriented. Interestingly enough, we also see AGM going for more guns than utility. Hopefully this doesn't backfire on them. Full control of stairs already, and AGM has no idea where they are yet. One player in vent, so a flank is possible. Prox goes off there. They now know that they are outside A site. Door blocker is gone. Flashbang goes out, doesn't catch anyone. Damage on the player. Flash himself. Prodigy does take out Antics, and Skittles is able to get a trade for that. Ooh, Planter doesn't go down. Good cover from Phantom. Player does take out MVP. Now it's a 3v3. However, are they ready for the 3 players? Ooh. Oh, that nade there at the end. That was a great cover there, though, on the EMP planter. The player who swung out with Yuraken would have gotten the kill if it weren't for the player on wall and door. Now it's back to middle floor. Last time they took arcade relatively easily. There hasn't been much outward extension from AGM. They've been sticking relatively close to site. And maybe we'll see a change here now. Maybe they will play a little bit further out in arcade. However, not quite sure where they're going. Could be here in bookstore. However, there is actually a player out here in bookstore. We'll see if this works out. Does look like it will be a B-side push. Drone going in, always a good idea. Hopefully Aslak hears this though and calls out to his teammates, because they need to have a much better initial site defense from when the offense actually goes in. Tiny bit of damage there, and static goes out really fast. That's not going to be good for AGM. Ooh, Aslak goes down in the back. However, they're not pushing in quite yet. DJ runs out. Kai goes down. And now it's a 5v2. 5v1. This is not looking good. An unfortunate lag spike there from Skittles. Very dominant win there. Maybe my previous statement after pistol round of it being close was a tiny bit incorrect. You always love seeing close games though. The plays tend to be much better. However, we are onto bottom floor now, and 30 seconds and they still don't. Oh. Well, that's a lot of Tauruses and Spectrals. Not quite sure what they intend to do with these. I don't believe they'll be able to carry all of them. I'm interested to see if they will disappear the moment round starts. Yes, they did. Shame. Does seem to be a records push. Oh, they're just sprinting in. Foam passed up. Pings do go out. They know that they are pushing records. Drone points out a player. They destroy static. And the defense does seem to be a tad bit more prepared now. However, there is no foam on the other wall. That could be difficult. As I say, that always gets Kai, and now there's only truly 2 people on site. One is still Roman, the other is playing on the other site. Flashbang goes out, doesn't quite get anyone. Another one goes out, however, player takes out MVP. Canutt swinging out, but the player in the corner. Player goes down, and that's a 2v4. EMP is getting planted. Hopefully they can catch him out on the rotation out. Oh! An insane incendiary. Wow. Amazing throw. Perfect bounce off the ceiling as well. And now it's a 1v4. EMP is planted, so Aslak will have to push up, but Math with the flank watch. I've just got to say, that is a really good incendiary throw. I don't think I've seen anything that good. I may have to rewatch that in my stream preview. That was incredible. Player doing the best here on AGM, 5 and 6. Prodigy and Always doing very good, 8 and 1, 7 and 2. Math is going 6 and 3. Phantom with no deaths right now. We'll see if he can keep up that perfect KD. We have swapped sides. Now AGM is attacking. However, they can't make any mistakes. It is match point. Hold out here in hallway. This is generally a good idea. It allows you to get an odd angle on anyone pushing through this door from arcade. And they got relatively easy control of arcade. Oh, but player not quite close enough to get the refrag. Does get some damage, but a trade coming out from Aslak though. Prodigy taking out one. Refragged though. Aslak again. Ensign goes out. denying movement a tiny bit. However, are they ready for the player on door? Player does take out MVP. Aslak with the 3K now takes out Math. Ooh, but that's shut down by Phantom. 2v1, this is looking good for AGM right now. Skittles just needs to be able to get into sight to plant. Oh, passes up EMP, but player gets the kill. Says, no, I don't need the EMP. Good round there. They were able to take quick control of Arcade, and that basically won them the round. That 3K there from Aslak also helped a lot. He was able to get the refrags from his teammates' deaths. And now we're looking at a B-site push. Same push the other team did on their offense. Pistol round. We'll see how this works out for them. And if they decide to, once again, go through this door here. Because, from what I've seen, you need at least one person going through the door here in Mess Hall to make sure that you have complete control of the area before you can fully push in. Also, an interesting static here. It forces you to move out a little bit more, so you're exposed to this doorway. However, there doesn't seem to be anyone playing over here in Medbay. Drone going in, very good to gather information. However, there isn't really anyone there. It's going to be free to take Mess Hall. Drone goes out. And AGM is going to have to get their push started. There's only a minute 45 left. Really are taking their time, though. Oh, player catches a peek. Grenade goes out. Damage has been traded, though. AGM is very bad on health economy right now. Kai does take out one, however, he is refragged. Aslak is very low, 1 HP right now. He's going to have to be careful for the player on bomb. Player tries swinging out, just can't quite get anything. AGM is kind of stuck right now. They don't have enough health to really push in. They need to be playing off each other. Prodigy takes out one, takes out another, however, he does go down. Phantom takes out AJ. Skittles is able to take out one, but Math there for the refrag. An interesting first map there. Very dominant from the offense on first half. However, AGM was able to get a good round there, pistol round on offense. Final scores here if anyone's interested. Prodigy doing a very good job. Player not too far behind. Relatively even spread of kills. Next map is Hideout. An original. I used to not like Hideout because it was played so much, but I now know why it's played so much, and I really like Hideout. So, we'll see how these guys do. Okay, it is AGM on the offense, no side swap. Starting off bottom floor, hopefully we see a nice storage hold, maybe a player in storage and a player in waterfall. It does look like we may be seeing a hatch play here from AGM. They're just going to have to be careful for math on the stairs. A lot of utility here. Kai bringing a cloak and a foam, Skittles with a foam, and Aslak with a nade. I do believe player is droning as well. Yes. Already have a designated droner. Ooh, Math has heard this push already. However, he's not pushing up yet. Does look like both hatches are now blown. I wonder how the defense is going to respond to this. MVP takes out Kai from the window. Unfortunate pick. Math is upstairs now. Hopefully they're ready. Always 8 takes out player. It's a 2v5 now. The upstairs room is finally encountering the last players. Hopefully they're going to be able to take out the roam upstairs in order to actually push the site, because otherwise they're going to have to push quickly because the roam with upstairs with them is going to be a problem. However, EMP is dropped outside. It could be more effective to just go for kills. Ooh, MVP on the roam there. Dies to reverse TK. That was a good hold there from the defense. They were able to get free picks on players who just weren't paying attention, and that allowed them to very easily get it into a very advantageous position. I mean, there's not much you can do in a 5v2. Drone going in does point out a ton of utility. Maybe even spots the player here in backside. However, they do seem ready for an A hold, which may not be the right play given the fact that EMP player is here on B site. Wall is blown. One player has rotated over. Math is able to get AJ on the front door. Unfortunate pick there. However, Aslak here slow walking could get Math. However, the push here on B site is not going great. 2 players have died in total. Player 22 takes a lot of damage there, peeking wall. Skittles has to be careful for that player on the left, though. MVP takes out player. Ooh, slow walk here coming out from Killbox. This could catch out Skittles. Ooh, Skittles takes out Math. Not without losing a lot of health. Aslak is able to take out MVP on the downstairs roam. This is now looking winnable for AGM. They've just taken out 2 of the players. It's a 2v3. They're gonna have to make a move soon. It's approaching 30 seconds and they don't even have EMP anymore. They need to be careful of the player on bomb. He's holding an angle. Always takes out Skittles, and now is the time you would see a defense getting very aggressive, and Aslak just took advantage of that. He's going to need to make a decision soon. Is he going to save or is he going to go for the picks? He goes for the picks but gets taken out by Always. Unfortunate round coming out there. DJ was taken out very early on that front door here, and Kai was also taken out very early in bedroom. Very unfortunate turn of events that really allowed the defense to take full advantage. Now we're going to middle floor. You usually see a very strong hold on garage, and there seems to be a lot of util being placed, which is always good to see. However, it does seem AGM is going for a A-site hatch play, maybe. Player here on the stairs. One coming from downstairs as well, I think. Window broken, players on hatch. We'll see how they push this A-site. Hatch is blown. They're going to have to be careful. The defense now knows they're pushing A and will likely rotate a lot of their forces over. DJ running Kunai. Interesting choice for this floor. You would usually see that run more if you were to push garage side. However, we'll see how this works for him. Very slow push so far. Player getting the first kill. Math takes out DJ. Kai is in sight. Math takes out DJ. EMP is planted now, and the defense has done nothing really. Just sitting in con, likely waiting for this roam to go through. However, hopefully AGM is ready. MVP is here, swinging out con, always taking out Aslak with a nade. Kai getting one, Skittles helping him out there from the doorway. Wallbang coming from Phantom. Phantom getting a 2K, player shutting that down. 1v1. Player on 13 HP. EMP getting diffused. But it was a bait. Oh, but it was enough time. Always was not able to defuse the EMP, and player is going to win that first round. First round for AGM. Already off to a better start than previous map. AGM has a round win first half. We're back to the top floor bomb site. We'll see if they decide to go B site again. It didn't work out too well for them last time. does look like they will be going for a site push on the balcony and hatch, which does tend to be the better option when pushing sites. B site is just very difficult to push because you need to get the hallway here, and usually there is a player sitting here on the box, and it is very difficult to kill them if they know how to dodge nades effectively. However, two very aggressive holds here. One down here in this bottom corner, which hopefully the drone sees. Not pinged out. Ooh, but Skittles and DJ both getting picks. Math takes out 2. 3. DJ is able to take that down, but it's a 2v2 now. Nade goes out. Not much util for the defense. They're going to need to be careful. Oh, they use that Insin. Now they have nothing to really stop the plant. I wonder what AGM is waiting on. Interesting choice not taking the Vezin. Ooh. Prodigy gets the pick, and now it's a 1v2. Aslak is able to get 1. One v one now. Aslak does have EMP, however, 45 seconds to make a play. EMP is getting planted. EMP is down. 1v1. Aslak just needs to hold a good angle for post plant. Don't play too aggro. You know he's gonna bait. Always with the Marui there. Able to take out Aslak. However, it's not like last round. Always was able to defuse the EMP, and that's a 3rd round. It's going a tad bit better here for AGM. They do have a little bit more kills spread across the board. However, always here with 7-0, Math 5-3. They're making it very difficult for AGM to take any rounds. Going into round 5, we see that AGM is not saving a whole lot of money for round 6. Hopefully this doesn't cost them next round. Drone upstairs currently. Might not see the roam here in theater. Oh, just barely misses Math here in the corner. That may come to hurt them later. DJ taking space with the drone, and Math upstairs is able to get a pick. 3 players upstairs. There's only 1 person actually on the floor of the objective. Full control of storage now. Phantom is able to get some damage through the wall, though. Foam is on the wall, however, no one on the B site outside wall. Very tucked defense here. They seem to be wary of an A site rotation, which does seem like it could be in effect. Oh, not quite a good nade. Too far in the corner. Phantom does take some damage, however, always in the corner. That's EMP down. Player's able to get a refrag. DJ's able to get a pick as well. 2v3. Player just needs to be careful of this corner. Very reserved in that corner. But always is able to take out player. Now it's a 1v3. However, oh, that's one pick there. Stim is now ready. Gotta be careful of the player on A window, though. They may hear you. 10 seconds now. Not much of a choice. No point in really swinging now. Ooh, does get a pick. It will be a little bit of money gained there, but not too much. But he goes down anyway. Not the greatest call there from DJ, however, he was able to get a pick. And it looks like we may be seeing a full Knut buy here from AGM. No, Aslak and DJ have decided to swap. This isn't exactly the greatest floor to push with just Knuts, but it's not bad in garage as long as you can swing the right angles. Looks like they have reverted to just 2 Knuts. Full Marui buy on the defense, though. You usually see a split of Vezins and Maruis, however, we are seeing full Marui. DJ is just running in, though. Very aggressive play. Something you don't see very often, and that's kind of why. Aslak is in the building now, in garage. We'll see how they do. Oh! Players outside A site, are they ready for the roam though? No. Math is refragged though. Uh-oh, a DC here on the side of AGM. Unfortunate, however. No, Skittles has returned. Wallbank's coming in, not much happening though. 3v4 might be a little bit tough to push onto this site, however, it can be done. Kai droning in now. MVP takes out Aslak with a nade. Drone doesn't get to see anything because of it though. There is a defender now in garage and over here in theater. Hopefully they're ready. Oh, Kai goes down. Now it's a 1v4. However, Skittles will have to make a move. It is the last round of the half. 1, 2. Now it's a 1v2. This is looking much more doable. But always is able to get the headshot on Skittles. That's a 5-1 first half here. And it's not completely undoable for AGM. I mean, I have personally experienced the 5-1 curse before, so it is doable. We'll just see if they are able to pull off the same kind of thing they did first round of offense on Maul. However, Hideout does tend to be a more offense-sided map, so we'll see how this goes. Good to see a storage hold here coming in. You definitely want to make sure you keep storage as long as you can to stall the offense. However, you also don't want to neglect this wall here, because here on parkour isn't the only plant spot. No action quite yet, just the wall getting blown, not even any doors broken. Flashbang going out, nothing quite happening though. MVP just sticking by the door. Not the greatest flashbang. Skittles is able to take out one with Trip, however always is able to get the refrag. DJ goes down to math, however, do they know there's another player in storage? Always gets player. Aslak gets 1, 2. Will he be able to get a third? Oh, grenade there. That's going to take out Always. He's on 3k. And Aslak with the 4k. Wow, a second 4k. DJ antics, maybe focus on the game. To be fair, migraine is pretty bad, but just try to focus on the game. Don't pay attention to the cast too much. Looks like it will be a B site push here on middle floor. DJ is here swinging out very aggressively, however he does go down with a Marui no less. That could be a huge problem for AGM. Prodigy takes out Aslak and this is not looking good. Players is able to take out MVP using trips. Unfortunate there. However, damage is done. It's a 4v3. No real action for pushing site though. Maybe because they don't have foam. Or is it on MVP? MVP had the foam. That is why their push is stalled. Finally getting foam on walls. Hopefully it's not too late. There's only a minute and 30 seconds left. Both walls are now blown. It's going to be a little bit difficult for AGM to keep this site. EMP is getting planted, always takes out one, and always gets a second. That's match point now. AGM is going to have to pull off a perfect last half. Five rounds in a row, in fact. We'll see how this goes. Aslak going 8 and 7 right now. Not bad. Skittles also at 6 kills. But always in math, both in the double digits. 15 and 1 is very impressive. We are onto top floor though. There is someone on the window, and DJ does go down very soon. Aslak is in a very dangerous position though. He can be attacked from stairs and window. As shown now, his feet might be shot out. No, they rotate off the doorway. Oh, a very interesting hold here from the balcony. And he's just pinched from 2 pixels, the one on balcony and the lead peak here. It was a good first pick though. However, they're still set up for a B site push. There's only one player on A. Wall is now blown. And always takes out Kai. Oh, double flashbang. Skittles is able to take out Prodigy. There is a player on B site, however the others are in A. I wonder where EMP is though. Ah, Math is pushing it now with it. AGM is now going to have to push up, however, do they know that one of them is in sight? Oh, almost flicks, however. Nade goes out, denying pushing up a little bit. Player is able to get one pick, however, taken out immediately, and that is 7-2. A little bit better than last map. So far. Final scores here. Always in math, both double digits. Aslak almost hit 10. Just not quite. 9 and 8. Does look like we will be going to a third map. See what that is. Ship. I personally don't like ship very much for bomb defusal. I feel it's just more a control point kind of map. However, I might be one in a few people, so others might prefer ship. I don't. I can appreciate that there are some very good plays that can be done on ship. I mean, I have seen a lot of good pushes here on top floor site Helm. An interesting trip mine. You usually see them a little bit closer to the door frame and a little bit closer to the corner. So we'll see if this actually ends up working. DJ is playing very aggro here on bunks though. Hopefully he doesn't shoot the wall here. However, not quite sure what's going on here from the offense. Ooh, defense in Helm could hurt them a little bit. Grenade goes out. Not quite any damage though. Very good rotation off. A full swap up going straight for hatch instead of clearing helm. However, there are now 2 players upstairs. Will Skittles be ready for the hatch? They're now taking space here on the same floor. Prodigy just sprinting through. Hopefully sees those trips in time. Hatch drop. EMP is in sight. Math is able to get one. Phantom takes out one. Skittles refrag. Player gets a trade. Always is still in sight. Gets EMP on the wall. However, doesn't stick it. Phantom is in the corner. Always is now getting the plant. Skittles is very low. Always able to get the refrag. EMP not quite planted. Always gets another. Now it's a 1v2. However, Always is 1 HP. There is an instant in the hands of MVP. He could throw that on Kong just to stall the defense a little bit. Ooh, Aslak takes out MVP. Now it's the player that's 1 HP, but not quite ready for the swing. Almost a clutch there from Aslak. Just reloaded at the wrong time. It's very difficult to get out of the habit of reloading after you get a kill, especially when it has been there for a while. However, AGM is still vibing. DJ has had some interesting holds here. You don't usually see someone playing like this in Armory. Window is broken. Oh, that's one pick. Oh, a second kill. Phantom, it does get the refrag though. That's going to be some major damage. Kai is able to get a pick. This is looking very good so far for AGM. A 4v2. The offense is halted just a little bit, wasting a lot of time trying to figure out what they want to do. Hopefully they're ready for the stairs realm. Unfortunate timing there. Not quite ready for the peek out. Math gets some damage there on the player in sight. Unfortunate nade throw. Hopefully he knows there's a player crouching up to him. And Skittles is able to get the kill on Math. Looking good for AGM so far. They've been able to take that round very easily by the looks of it. Maybe DJ needs to have that slightly off aggro hold. That was able to get two very important picks for them. However, Aslak does seem to be the one holding aggro now. Ooh, hopefully he hasn't disconnected. It does seem he's disconnected, unfortunately. DJ is once again holding a slightly off angle. Hopefully this works out for them. Ooh, does take out one, but instantly refragged. Now they're able to take space. There we go, he ADS'd. Interesting flashbangs going out, not taking full advantage of actually throwing them, and not clearing new space. Almost good trip mines there. Wall is blown, and player gets a pick on math. That's going to be very important. Ooh, always almost looks away at the wrong time. Prodigy does take out the bot. Player takes out Phantom. Now it's a 2v3. Does look like they will be rotating sites, though. No, not sites? Not quite sure what their plan is. Perhaps Always is going to distract on B site, while Prodigy plans on A. No, it does look like they will both be rotating. However, no more foam. There's no door blocker, though. But Skittles is ready. Now it's a 1v3. And a 2k there from Skittles. Very good hold there after he took out the first player. It was safe to assume he was going to push a site, and the door was the only way to go in because they hadn't blown anything else yet. This is probably the fastest any scrim has gone. We're already partway through map 3 and it's not even an hour. Wow. Granted, I didn't wait too long in the lobby. I started the stream relatively close to first map start, so... DJ upstairs once again. Perhaps this could work out for him. However, he is on the wrong side of the building, and they are going B site, same floor. Drone going in, clearing space, always good to see. Double drone, interestingly enough. Hopefully they do see the trip mines. That could be dangerous. Player in bathroom, likely taking out that drone before it can get too much information. However, they do now know someone is in bathroom. Wallbang's coming out trying to deny space, and the player upstairs could be moving a little bit quickly. They also need to be careful not to reveal their position with their laser. Oh, this is interesting. They're rotating sites. However, AGM is more ready for an A site push than they are B. They have now taken space. Wall is blown. Flashbang's going in. Not taking space after them, though. Flashbang takes out Skittles for the moment. Oh, but he's able to get the pick on Math. Door blocker is stopping MVP from getting a good hold. Skittles is able to take out a third, a fourth. Could this be an ace? I believe that's an ace for Skittles. It is. Wow. DJ takes out Skittles now. Amazingly done there from Skittles. He was able to get that ace. They kind of just fed him 1v1s though. I mean, after taking out Math, who was swinging up very aggressively, he was able to swing out thanks to the door blocker, which blocked MVP from being able to really attack him on the side, and that allowed him to get several free picks. However, it does seem like they will be going B site now, after that failure on A. But AGM is pretty stacked on A right now. Very ready for an A site push. However, the offense is mixing it up. Hopefully it can point out the trips. I do believe Always has noticed them. Drone is noticed, and now there's 3 players on B site. Nade goes to backside, gets a lot of damage on Kai. Full control of Fire Room and Stairwell, however. Aslak there in the middle of Red Gen is refragged by Prodigy though. Kai in backside still being a thorn in the side though. Did get a stim from a teammate and now is going to be back at mostly full health. Another nade goes out, no more. Oh, DJ on the stairs is able to take out Math. Ooh, Phantom does get that pick. Skittles takes out MVP, and now it's a 1v3. Does look like he's rotating to Fire Room. No, stairs window. Ooh, hopefully the player in Red Gen heard that. It does seem like they did, though. Ooh, a lot of damage there, and players able to get the kill. A complete swap up there. AGM is now the one in a very strong lead here on Ship. Maybe Ship is just their map. They were not playing very well on Mall and Hideout, and you usually tend to see a team's best play come out on Hideout. Maybe they just do better on these newer maps. Granted, Mall is a newer map, so Ship does seem to be their map. Skittles is already in the double digits after that ace and a kill last round. And the offense is not looking very good right now. 4 and 5 is the best. Top floor this time. It does look like it will be a Helm push. Someone coming out on the starboard door, and the rest going hatch and port window. They will have to be careful stairs here. Aslak does hear a lot of movement. Hopefully he calls it out to his teammates. He needs to make sure he's not noticed by the offense either. If he's found out too soon, it will be very bad. Both balls blown already. Still 2 minutes on the clock. Good utility throws coming in. Players able to take out one. Aslak, DJ all getting kills. It's a 2v4. Aslak takes out Phantom with a nade after being taken out himself. And Prodigy is able to get a pick in sight, but Skittles gets the refrag on that. Very quick round there. The attack was trying to get in there very quickly and try to get a full sight control very fast. However, it didn't work out because they were AGM was able to get all the picks they needed to keep sight, and it kind of forced the offense to play very chaotically, which didn't work out in their favor. Going into round 7, AGM has the 5-1 lead now. I'm interested to see if AGM was just very good on the defense of ship, because now they have to attack. Drone coming in, trying to get as much information as possible. However, AGM's still waiting by this window. Just now entering. They do have a DC though. Does look like I don't remember who it was. Kai. Kai has left, sadly. Perhaps some issues with their headset. However, Jerome is clearing a lot of space here. Going vent. Likely taken out here, though. Oh, Team Spirit is able to get in right before getting taken out. However, they're going to have to be careful of this stairs roam. They don't want to be caught off guard here. Ooh. DJ tries to make it into sight, however, is taken out. Math takes out Aslak on the roam. Always takes out Team Spirit, and now it's a 2v5, 1v5. Skittles needs to be careful. There is someone by vent. However, they are low. Hopefully they can take him out easily. Ooh, someone pushing medbay. Skittles almost goes down. Skittles is able to take out one. Oh, but reloads at the wrong time. This isn't looking too good for AGM right now, It could end poorly now that they have swapped to the offense. I mean, that was a very dominant round there from the defense, so we'll see how they decide to push B site. Most of them do seem to be on A site here. However, they do seem to be rotating off now that they've gotten information from utility and hearing gunshots. Ooh, lot of damage on DJ. Very unfortunate. Foam is on wall. It is blown. They need to get it past to fire room though. Rome coming in here. However, players swung into sight. 2 kills, 3 kills. This is going to be a good pinch here if they can pull it off. Prodigy and Math getting picks as well. Now it's a 1v2. Math is low. This is very doable for Aslak. Ooh, Prodigy gets a pick before Math can pick up that syringe. Hopefully they recognize what was going on with the player passing syringe. The angles are crazy. They just barely can't see each other. Ooh, a lot of damage taken there. He needs to blow wall and get in sight. He's getting EMP planted. Math is going to have to do something now. Math is in sight now. He has grabbed his syringe. He's going to be full health. Math does know where Aslak is now. Baiting EMP. Ooh, but Aslak is able to get the kill. Very low, 10 HP, but that's match point for AGM. Very good clutch there from Aslak, but Skittles is going double digits, 13 and 4. Player not too far behind with 9, and Prodigy close behind that with 8. So both sides have very good players. Ship just seems to be leaning a little bit more to the AGM side. Does look like it will be a starboard side push onto A side. Interesting to not take port side as well. You don't usually see that. However, they will have to be careful of the player on stairs. Hopefully the drone will be able to take or check stairs and make sure no one's there. Ooh. It does see the player on stairs and they're going to have to swing. However, they're very low. They do throw a nade to stop any player from pushing them further. And it does look like they will be holding sight from now on. Because that was a lot of damage dealt. Math is now 13 HP. Foam is on wall. Hopefully they can get it past to this other wall here and fully open up A site. Because that tends to be the only way to actually push A site. Util goes out, always is able to take out Aslak. Always being a thorn in the side here. However, player is able to take him out. Team Spirit on the roam is able to take out Math. MVP takes out DJ. Phantom takes out Skittles. MVP takes out... Who was that? Team Spirit, and Prodigy takes out player. It ended up being a 1v1 at the end. Very close round there. However, Prodigy was able to get the refrag off his teammate. Perhaps we'll see a comeback here. If AGM can't get this final round, perhaps the 5-1 curse is real. AGM does seem to be doing an armory side push. Player, as usual, going in for drone. Team Spirit has taken space already. Very aggressive here. Door blocker is gone, and the site push onto A site has started. They're going to have to be careful of this player on roam. Nate goes out, gets a little bit of damage on always. Instant goes out, stopping the push. However, Skittles is in sight now. Prodigy does take out Aslak, but only after he gets a pick. And now the rest of his teammates are coming to support them. DJ takes out one. Math and MVP get picks. Math is able to take out DJ, and now it's a 1v2. However, he is in a very good position to defend EMP. Skittles takes out one, but MVP right behind him. (6-4) now. Unravel is really pulling this back. Maybe we will see OT on this last map. A lot of utility being bought, which is great to see. Util can really change the way a team pushes or defends. If a wall gets blown, you can just throw an instant on it, and that stalls them for 10 seconds, which, in the grand scheme of a round, that is a lot. And you can really take advantage of that. Showing off some of their mastery charms. Drone going in as usual, and DJ playing very close behind it. It isn't a bad trade, however, he doesn't have much support from his teammates. Wall is now blown, and there is a player roaming upstairs. They're going to have to be careful. Math is able to take out DJ, and now they're going to have to be careful of Bathroom. However, they do have a player on that side of the map. Skittles is going to be able to push in and start getting EMP planted. However, they will have to be careful of this roam. However, it is going very slow. It may be a moment before they have to worry about it. Math does take out Team Spirit. However, Aslak is able to get a trade for it. Ooh, the roam does take out Aslak. However, player is able to get the refrag. They need to be careful of hallway though. EMP is getting diffused. Skittles is able to get a 2K. Not quite 3, it's a 1v1 now. Always is going to have to stick the defuse. Oh, he might have stalled for enough time though. He did. And AGM win map 3. Maybe Shiv was just AGM's map, or they finally got warmed up to the playstyle. But first map win for AGM. Thanks for tuning in. I will leave the final scores up for anyone who would like to see them. And I do believe that is the end of the scrim. As promised, here are our final scores. Skittles, Player, and Prodigy doing very well with Math and Aslak very close behind. Very good scrim. Thank you for allowing me to cast this.